All right, let's get right into it. So, you've just landed a new events role. Congratulations! But your first big project is a super high-stakes executive offsite. The success of this thing, and probably your first review, really hangs on one crucial detail you might not even see coming: mastering the hotel room block. In this explainer, we're going to show you exactly how to nail it.
You totally know the feeling, right? The ink is barely dry on your offer letter and bam, you're in charge. There's just this immense pressure to get it right, especially when it's the company's first big get-together in years. It feels like a total baptism by fire because, well, it is. But hey, you've got this.
So everyone's asking you for venue options and room counts, and you're just trying to figure out where the heck they save the files. It can feel completely overwhelming. The budget, the logistics, the expectations from leadership, it all starts with knowing how many rooms you actually need. So, where on earth do you find that magic number?
Well, after a bit of digging, you find it, the folders from the last two offsites. And let me tell you, this is absolute gold. Tucked away in these files are all the patterns, the numbers, and the clues you need to build a rock-solid plan. See, the answer isn't guesswork. It's all in the data.
Okay, so your first step is to basically become a data detective. By really analyzing what happened at past events, you can build a solid foundation for an accurate room block this time around. This right here is ground zero. Don't just look at the total number of rooms that were booked. You have to understand the flow, the rhythm of your attendees. When did most people really show up? When did they head home? This pattern is honestly the single most important piece of history you can find.
And breaking this pattern down reveals two key concepts. You've got your peak days. These are the nights with the highest number of guests, right in the middle of your event. And then you have shoulder days. Those are the nights right before and after, when people are kind of trickling in or staying a little late. Understanding both is the key to not overbooking, or worse, underbooking.
Which brings us to a really vital industry term: actualized pickup. Now, this isn't about how many rooms you reserved, it's about how many were actually slept in. For example, if you booked 100 rooms but only 85 were used, your pickup is 85. This little number tells you exactly how accurate your past forecasts really were.
So, with all that in mind, here are the critical questions you need to be asking. Were the planners before you consistently on the mark, or did they have to keep adding or dropping rooms? Was the pickup rate pretty steady? And what about those extra nights? You know, the pre- and post-stays. Were they part of the official block, or did people just book them on their own? The answers here are going to shape your entire strategy.
Okay, you've looked at the past. Fantastic. Now for part two. You have to forecast the future. A room block that's only built on history is a block built on pretty shaky ground. Because let's face it, your company is not the same as it was last year. First things first, think big picture. Is the company expanding? Are profits up? Growth usually means more attendees, right? So your room block needs to reflect that same optimism. You have to factor in where the company is headed. Now, let's get a little more specific. For a senior executive offsite, this question is huge. If there are vacant leadership roles you expect to be filled before the event, well, that has a direct and immediate impact on your room count. Every single new hire is another head on a pillow. And you also have to be brave enough to ask the tough questions. Is there chatter about a merger or an acquisition that could seriously increase your attendee count, like overnight? On the flip side, are there whispers of layoffs? That could shrink your numbers. You really need to be aware of every possibility. So the takeaway here is really simple. Each one of these future-facing factors has a direct, tangible impact on your room block. Growth means more rooms, cuts means fewer. Your job is to translate these big business plans into a solid, concrete number. And this, my friends, is where it all comes together. The real magic isn't just in looking at the past or just guessing about the future. It's about combining the two, blending that historical data with your forward-looking forecast to create a plan that's truly data-driven. It really boils down to this simple three-step process. First, you anchor your whole plan in hard data of what actually happened before. Second, you intelligently adjust those numbers, up or down, based on what you know about the company's future. And third, you present your final proposed block not as a guess, but as a well-researched, super confident recommendation. So now that you've built the perfect block, let's add one final piece of insider knowledge. This is a little secret from the other side of the negotiating table, from the hoteliers themselves, that can give you a really powerful edge when you're planning. I mean, think about it. Hotels are managing this really complex flow of business travelers during the week and then leisure travelers on the weekends. Your group's arrival day can either solve a huge problem for them or create one.
And yes, they absolutely have a favorite. That's right, Sunday. For most big city hotels, Sunday is the most coveted day for a group to arrive. Why? It's the perfect bridge. The weekend vacationers are checking out, and the Monday to Thursday business travelers haven't shown up yet. A big group arriving on a Sunday is basically a hotel's dream come true. The key thing to remember here is that knowing this ranking gives you leverage. If you can schedule your event with a Sunday arrival, you suddenly become a much more attractive piece of business for the hotel, and that can translate into better rates and more flexibility for you. Monday and Thursday are also really strong contenders. And with that, you are armed with the data, the strategy, and an insider tip to build and negotiate the perfect hotel room block, which leaves just one final question to think about. If Sunday is the absolute best arrival day for a hotel, which day do you think is their absolute worst?